The PA Empowerment Network is a game changer, uniting individuals with shared goals to support and uplift each other, providing resources, mentorship, and a sense of community. Empowering people means giving them the tools and confidence to thrive and create positive change in their lives and communities.
Good evening. This is a late show for the evening. Friday evening, I like to sum up what took place during the week, this week in politics. And also, I like to pay homage to my ancestors. So um, let me hit you up with a little something about what's going on today. Today is also the anniversary of Tulsa, Oklahoma, what was known as the Black Wall Street. For all of you guys who are not familiar with it, that was on May 31st, 1921. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a little footage of what took place on that day and paying homage to our ancestors. All right.
Some African American communities are prospering, like the residents of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A remarkable Baptist pastor named Solomon Sir Jones is the pioneering filmmaker. His footage was lost for more than 50 years. Jones captures the bustling life of Greenwood, which could be any American small town. But Tulsa's whites don't like what they see. In May 1921, after a black man is accused of assaulting a white woman, a white mob rampages through the city. For a night and a day, they loot and burn Greenwood. A Fox News crew captures the only surviving footage. It is the bloodiest racial massacre in American history, leaving nearly 300 dead.
The Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Black Wall Street Massacre, was a violent and horrific event that took place from May 31st to June 1st, 1921 in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The massacre resulted in the deaths of almost 300 black Americans, the destruction of the prosperous community, leaving over 10,000 people homeless, and the long-lasting trauma of its survivors. Here's a breakdown of the tragic events. 1. The incident that sparked the violence. The tragedy began on May 30th, 1921, when a 19-year-old black shoe shiner named Dick Rowland was accused of assaulting a 17-year-old white elevator operator, Sarah Page. The exact details of what happened was always unclear, but it's widely believed that the accusation was exaggerated or completely false. There was no physical evidence or witnesses to support the claim of an assault. The charge was sensationalized by the white newspaper, the Tulsa Tribune, which published an inflammatory editorial claiming the assault and calling for an immediate lynching. 2. The white mob gathers. The newspaper reports incited anger in the white community, and the mob quickly formed, demanding that Rowland be handed over to them. Law enforcement officials arrested Rowland and held him in the Tulsa County Courthouse for his protection. The mob, fueled by hate, gathered outside the courthouse, threatening to lynch, but rumors spread that a black group had armed themselves to prevent the lynching. It added further tension. 3. The confrontation turns violent. That evening, a group of black residents from the Greenwood district, including some of the community's prominent men, went to the courthouse to offer protection for the young man and to prevent him from being lynched. A confrontation between the black and white crowds escalated when an unknown shot was fired. The incident quickly exploded into violence. 4. The massacre and destruction of Greenwood. In the early hours of June 1st, 1921, the mob, some of whom were deputized by local authorities, began systematically burning down the Greenwood district. The mob used firearms and arson to destroy the community, and they looted as many homes and businesses as they could of valuables, money, and family heirlooms. There were credible eyewitness reports and evidence of aerial bombings by planes from the nearby Curtis Southwest Airfield. Many people were killed during the destruction. Though the exact number remains uncertain, estimates suggest that upwards of 300 African Americans were killed, with thousands more left homeless. The Greenwood district, often called Black Wall Street, was decimated. More than 1,000 homes and businesses were destroyed, and much of the district was reduced to ash. 5. The aftermath. The massacre was widely covered up and underreported at the time, particularly in mainstream press. Law enforcement failed to intervene or stop the violence. Many survivors were left without homes, businesses, or resources and were forced into internment camps as a result of the violence. Several black residents were arrested, while no white individuals were held accountable for their actions. The destruction of Greenwood and the deaths of countless African Americans had lasting effects on the survivors, who were left without support or compensation. Many families were unable to rebuild, and the trauma lingered for generations. Tulsa authorities did not provide any financial assistance to those who lost everything, and there was no official reckoning for the massacre until decades later. 6. Official recognition. For many years, the Tulsa Race Massacre was largely ignored in the history books. It was only in the 1990s, following the efforts from survivors and activists, that the massacre gained more recognition. In 1996, a commission was established to investigate the events of 1921. According to a 2001 report by the Oklahoma Commission to Study the Tulsa Race Riot of 1921, at minimum, 1,256 homes were destroyed, alongside churches, schools, businesses, and hospitals. Greenwood residents would go on to file over $1.8 million in damage claims, but most residents never filed or reported anything due to fear. All but one of these claims were denied. A white shop owner was given compensation for guns taken from his shop. Once many families left, they never returned. In today's dollars, the additional loss of other assets, including cash, personal belongings, and commercial property, might bring the total to well over $200 million. 7. The takeaway. The Tulsa Race Massacre serves as a tragic chapter in American history, highlighting the dangers of white supremacy, racial injustice, and the lengths to which these forces will go to maintain power over marginalized communities, even those self-sufficient and thriving. As you have just witnessed, Black history is American history.
Black history is American history. As you can see, the racism hasn't stopped. It still continues on. The white supremacist attitude has not stopped. That still continues on. I mean, even up into today's time, you got a president who doesn't mind taking benefits away from those that need it the most, those that don't have it. Kind of like that Robin Barra type of situation where the rich is taken from the poor. So I'm going to show you an instance of what's going on this week. And another thing that's going on this week is the big, beautiful bill. So let's talk about
14 million Americans losing their access to health care. And the new Trump school voucher sabotage plan atop state vouchers incentivizes removing students from public schools. Meanwhile, our national debt soaring by trillions from Republicans who talk fiscal responsibility, but serving their cult leader, the deficit hawks, have become chicken hawks tonight in submission to Trump, the self-described king of debt, all to reward billionaires with even more tax breaks.
I recognize my colleague, who I don't see is here. Yes, I do, right there, from Arkansas. Chairman of the House Financial Services, Mr. French Hill.
For how much time?
For 2 minutes.
For 2 minutes. Gentleman's recognized for 2 minutes.
I rise tonight in support of this reconciliation effort, and I thank my friend from West Texas, the home of natural security, for supporting this bill and working hard to bring it.
This bill will kick 404,000 people in our state of Pennsylvania off their health insurance. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Texas, the ranking member of the Health Subcommittee on Ways and Means, Mr. Doggett.
Gentleman from Texas recognized for 1 minute.
Breaking yet another promise, Republicans are cutting Medicare by $500 billion. On October 1st of this year, every Medicare health care provider will see a 4% cut, and that will occur year after year after year as seniors try to find someone who will accept Medicare. And on January the 1st, millions of Americans who rely on the Affordable Care Act lose their access to a family physician. Medicaid for those in nursing homes, for half the babies born in my hometown of Austin, cut. Almost 14 million Americans losing their access to health care. And the new Trump school voucher sabotage plan, atop state vouchers, incentivizes removing students from public schools. Meanwhile, our national debt soaring by trillions from Republicans who talk fiscal responsibility, but serving their cult leader, the deficit hawks have become chicken hawks tonight in submission to Trump, the self-described king of debt, all to reward billionaires with even more tax breaks.
Ladies recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is a massive betrayal of working people and poor people across America. It strips at least 14 million Americans of their health care. It slashes food for the hungry, and it cuts basic needs for Americans across the country. And why? So that you can give a $5 trillion tax break to the wealthiest billionaires like Elon Musk. If you had a giant corporate lobby outside, you get a tax break. If you're in the top 0.1%, 0.1% of billionaires, you get a $398,000 tax break. If you're a millionaire, you get an average $83,000 tax break. But if you're a working person or a poor person, you are SOL. You get kicked off your health care. You don't get the $2 a meal in SNAP benefits, and you get hungrier, you get poorer, you get sicker. And here's the thing, if you're so proud about this bill, why are we debating it at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning? Why are these schedules getting rigged so that people don't actually get to see what we are doing here in this chamber? I yield back. I'm a hell no.
Members.
Wow. Wow. I'll tell you, it seems like they're having a hard time getting it together, but I can understand how she feels. I mean, if this bill is going to affect the poor people, if this bill is going to affect the homeless people, if this bill is only going to help out and make the people of the 1%, if it puts more money and coins into their pockets, then no, I'm not for that bill. I can't see how that bill is any good for any of us. But it seems, as usual, we live in a, and what do you call it, capitalist society, and capitalism breeds corruption. And we have a lawless and a corrupt administration right now. All right, got to pay the bills. Be back in a few seconds.
Hello, I'm Chantel Davis from Willie Mays Place and Legacy Vines Winery, located in Gilbert, Pennsylvania. We're the only restaurant and winery experience where we pair delicious homemade scratch kitchen Southern comfort food with delicious homemade wine. All of our tastings will include some type of food and wine portion pairing, so definitely check us out. You can visit us at williemaysplace.com, legacyvineswinery.com, and also follow us on our socials, Willie Mays Place Restaurant. Hope to see you soon.
Well, what we got coming up next is we're going to talk about the school situation. And particularly, I want to talk about Harvard University. Now, I'm giving all kind of praises to that young man, the president at Harvard University, for standing up and sticking to his First Amendment rights, his constitutional rights, because it seems that all of our constitutional rights at this time doesn't matter with this we just don't matter. It seems we have a lawless president who's going to do whatever he wants to do. And if anyone gets in his way, he's going to get rid of it. Very gangster style. Very, very much gangster style. Well, let's see what they have to say at Harvard University.
It would give the university 30 days to challenge the revocation. On campus, Harvard University President Alan Garber received a standing ovation as he welcomed all members of the graduating class.
Members of the class of 2025 from down the street, across the country, and around the world. Around the world, just as it should be.
Now, what I can tell you is you go, Harvard University, you go. And you have a lot of support. There are a lot of people that feel the same way that you do. I'm sure there's other presidents at other universities that feel the same way as you do. And I really think it's a shame that we live in a country where you have your government that's attacking your university, your prestigious university. Harvard is one of the most prestigious universities that we have right here in America. And he's attacking that because of what? Because he doesn't like the idea of having international students coming here. Well, certain international students. I mean, if they came from South Africa, I don't think he would have such a problem, now would he? Did you see the way he brought all those South Africans over here? And what did he call them? Refugees. How are you going to be refugees? You come over here, they look like they were very well fed. They didn't look like they were starving for anything. And as they getting off the plane, they had plenty of luggage. So I guess they figure they can come here to America and fall in line with the other white supremacists that are here. But back in Africa, I'm going to tell you, the president of Africa was a little pissed off at Trump and the way he described Africa and the way he described the burial sites and the genocide that was going on about white people. Yeah, let me show you a little something. And let's see.
Facing 34 felony charges, once again spread the vicious lie about white farmers being slaughtered in South Africa. What we witnessed was not just the ravings of a racist, but the despicable attempt of a desperate politician trying to dye his campaign banner with African blood. Even as he fabricated these lies, his business empire quietly registered 3 mineral exploration companies in South Africa. How ironic that a man who claims the country is slaughtering whites can't wait to carve up what he calls blood-soaked land. The old apartheid regime also used the black threat to justify atrocities. And now this man is recycling the same playbook, more laughably while peddling these myths. This self-proclaimed human rights champion had the audacity to hint that he hopes South Africa will gift him an aircraft. In his warped worldview, African nations seem to exist either as slaughterhouses awaiting his salvation or as ATMs for his personal plunder. Here's the truth he dares not confront. In the new South Africa, the scales of justice do not tip based on skin color.
Yeah, well, the new South Africa. I kind of like the way that sounds. Well, there's things going on all over Africa in a little country. Well, I don't know how big the country is, but it's a country called Burkina Faso, and they have a president there. His name is Ibrahim Touré. I like this man. I like what he has to say. I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with a leader of a country who feels that they should take care of the people in their country. I know that sounds like it's something strange, that actual government is going to actually take care of its people. Well, since this man has come into power, he's seized and taken control of all of the resources, natural resources within his country. He's kicked the French people out, kicked all the old colonialists, kicked them out, even started his own airline, kicked the French airline out and started their own airline. This young man makes it possible for the people in Burkina Faso to become independent and stop being a dependent on the world around them, that let them remember that they were farmers long before the colonials came here. So learning agriculture is something that we already knew, or something that the Africans already knew. They just had to have the machinery to do so, and the equipment to do so, and the drive and the willpower to do so. Well, this young man has provided that. So I don't see where anything is wrong with him. You can go to school there. You don't have to worry about the big bills like we have to worry about here. You can, if you get sick, you don't have to worry about the insurance companies and all of the big bag money that you got to pay to them. As a matter of fact, this young man, he stated that the people of Burkina Faso do not have to pay taxes. And when the businesses that are there, they don't have to pay taxes either. So this is another way for him to fuel trade, employment, education. All of the things that he's doing is making his people and his country better. So I just don't understand why President Trump would label this man as a terrorist. Why would the Europeans label this man as being bad for the country? Why would Al Qaeda slide them little cells in there and start a war with this man? I'm like I said, that young man, he makes it proud to say African anything. All right. Enough of me going on and on about my man in Burkina Faso. So, like I said, we try to sum it up for the rest of this week. This was a pretty good weekend. On Monday, we had Memorial Day, and I hope everyone had a good weekend. This weekend, it seems like I don't know what it's going to do out here in Pennsylvania. You know, Pennsylvania is a little bipolar. One day you got beautiful sunshine, and next day it's cold outside and raining. So my name is Kendall Stevenson, and I guess I'm going to call this a day. And we'll pick it up again probably on Tuesday when we open up our politicking show. And my man Ronald Yates is here from Genesis Radio, and we can sit back and we could probably chop up about some of the topics that we brought up this week. Again, I'm just trying to honor my ancestors by showing up today and letting everyone know about what took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Greenwood. And you can research all of this. You can just Google it. It's not hard to Google it, and you can view it for yourself. But I just wanted to bring it to the forefront, let people know that today was the day. So today is the anniversary of that. And that will be May 31st, 1921. We're celebrating today, May 31st, 2025. All right. My name is Kendall Stevenson, and thank you again for tuning in to the Empowerment Show. You guys can always just push the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and we do appreciate it. If you like the show, leave us a comment. Say hello. If there's any topics that you guys like to talk about, again, leave it in the comment section and let us know. All right. Kendall Stevenson, and I am out. Peace.